Okay, I think I'm live. I haven't started recording yet. I'm going to record this so that I can post it. I'm trying to make sure this is coming up on my YouTube stream as well. Okay, so that seems to be coming up. I will start recording in just a moment. Okay. All right, let me start my recording. Okay, good morning. This is Ken Krager from Black Swan Financial Advisors. Again, very timely topic. It's the 1st of February 2023, and it's the middle of tax season, and I did some short videos about Roth conversions and whether or not you should do Roth conversions. But they weren't really the beginning of this particular series that I want to do of videos. So again, educational purposes only. These videos, my website and everything, educational purposes only. Please contact me for some personalized planning and strategies. So this particular set of videos, and I have a course where we can sit down and actually go through some planning for you, your family, and your own personal circumstances. And we'll get into a lot more detail than these videos ever could get into. So please contact me and we can do that. So this course, we're going to talk about retirement investment strategies around these government basically created investment vehicles that are geared towards retirement. There's a few things that we need to keep in mind, especially for families who have family members with special needs. Not only do you need to make sure you have sufficient funds for yourself and your own retirement, but you've got to make sure that you have funds long into the future, long after you've passed on. So we need to really think about that, and taxes really play a huge part. I mean, think about, if you can have an extra 10 or 15 or 20% of your overall assets that can pass into the future to help take care of your loved one, and then if you can minimize the tax burden of that estate once you're gone. So, there's things like trust, and so there's financial components, there's legal components, there's strategies around benefits and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to introduce, actually I should put on my slide, Possibilities Achieved. We have a community at Possibilities Achieved, and I said it, there's a Facebook site for our community, and it's a community for people to collaborate and learn about different things. And these videos will also show up there. And at Possibilities Achieved, we believe that it's possible to achieve a secure and comfortable retirement, even when you have loved ones with a disability. There's a lot of challenges and a lot of burdens for the family when you have someone that that has an intellectual or developmental disability, but we believe that you can successfully plan the future. The community is dedicated to providing the tools and resources family need to create a better future for themselves and their loved ones. Through our retirement investment strategies, we'll provide you with knowledge and skills you need to navigate the complexities of retirement planning, developing a tailored strategy that meets your unique needs, and minimizing taxes, maximizing your returns, those kind of things. So don't wait any longer. Join our community, follow and watch these videos, and please, come and talk to me, and we can come up with a, specialized plan or whatever. So I jumped too far. So this is the outline. of my course, and there'll be a set of videos for each of these sections, and we're only going to spend 10 minutes where the course is going to, it's pretty comprehensive. So the course takes a lot longer than, eight videos probably that I'll end up doing. So first, and we'll get into this a little bit today, is that introduction to retirement and investment strategies. Then we'll talk about what are 401k and 401k Roth accounts. What are IRA accounts and Roth IRA accounts? Taxes and retirement, conversions. Like I said, I did some little short videos on conversions, and I'll probably, once we get into these other videos in a few weeks, then I might end up replacing those videos with that. And so you have 401k conversions and you have Roth IRA conversions, and maximizing your tax-free income during retirement, but actually also for in your special needs trust, or in your estate that is taking care of your loved one after you're gone. And as I've said before, there's often more money in saving money than there is in making money. Wouldn't you say, if I saved you 10% on your taxes, I made you 10%? Okay? Keep what you earned. That's my motto. I don't want to necessarily give it to the government. So module 1, and we'll get into a little bit more detail. I'll probably have to do one more video after this to do module 1, but basically an overview, importance of retirement and investment planning, and understanding the different types of retirement accounts. And so let me just go into the modules for the rest of the course. So let's just talk a little bit about module 1, this overview, and what we're going to talk about today. So there are these types of retirement accounts: 401ks, 401k Roths, IRAs, and Roth IRAs. And what are they? What's the difference between a 401k and a Roth? And what about pre-tax dollars and post-tax dollars that might go into contributions? And so we'll talk specifically in module 1 about each one of these accounts and exactly what they are. So for example, what are the eligibility requirements to get in a 401k? The 401k has to be set up by your employer, or if you're self-employed or own your own business, you can set something up similar. But it's the employer decides what the rules are for your 401k, and some of them are much more powerful vehicles for retirement savings than others and other companies. So, and then we'll talk about employer contributions. So oftentimes when you have a 401k, you have your own contributions and you have your employer contributions. So those could be pre-tax dollars, post-tax dollars. We have tax-deferred and we have tax-free. And so we'll get into that. And so what are the tax benefits? And what are your investment options and that employer matching and what that might be? And then we'll talk about penalties. How can you access your money, especially before you're 59 and a half? And maybe you need some money. Maybe you want to buy a house or something. So we'll talk about that. So more detail into what 401ks and 401k Roths are. And then what are IRAs? Okay, so individual retirement accounts. So a 401k, an IRA is similar to a 401k. They're very similar, but anybody can have an individual retirement account. You don't go through an employer. You can go to basically they're called custodians, like E-Trade or Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whatever. There's tons and tons of companies that offer IRAs and Roth IRAs, and you set up an account there and then they manage it and the rules and stuff. So we'll talk a little bit more next time about the same kind of rules, eligibility, how much money can you put in there? What are the contribution limits? What are advantages and disadvantages of an IRA? And then what are the advantages and disadvantages of a Roth IRA? What happens with taxes? And one of the most important things is, I think it's interesting. I've had this discussion before with people that I've worked with when I've worked at companies. And for example, at one time I worked for General Motors, and they offered like a pretty significant match to the 401k. So if you think about it, a match is free money. The employer gives that to you. Now there's typically a vesting time where you have to work for the company for a certain number of years, and then that money would be yours. And if you leave the company before that, you don't get any of the match. But it's basically, it's free money. And I found it very interesting that when I talked to some of my coworkers that have been there for a few years, and I asked them if, hey, are you contributing to the 401k? And they're not. And they're literally giving up free money. Free money. Okay? That's like walking by $1,000 bill lying on the ground and just leaving it there. So most company 401ks that match, they'll give you at least 3. So I've seen 3, 8, 10% match, right? So, a pretty no-brainer strategy for a 401k is, if the company's going to give you money, if you put money in it, then you should put money in it, right? So I have never, ever seen a situation where you should not put in at least the company match. So if the company matches 5%, then you should put 5% into your 401k. Now, whether it's in the Roth 401k or in the regular tax-deferred 401k, you can decide. And whether or not you put more than the match in your 401k, that's based on your individual circumstances and your overall plan. I found myself actually years ago when I sat down just a year or two ago to look at my own kind of retirement income situation, I had found out that my Social Security is going to be taxed. And some of you might not realize that your Social Security can be taxed. So right now the law is up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed at whatever marginal tax rate you're in. The government has been trying to change that so that all of it can be taxed if you're over a certain retirement income. So what you find is regular 401ks and regular IRAs are tax deferred. So that means you pay taxes on it later. And I'll just say, the government doesn't ever do you a favor. Okay, so it's really interesting because a lot of people, a lot of financial planners, stick all you can in that 401k and everything. And the thing is that's not necessarily the best thing for you to do for your situation. For example, I found myself in almost all my retirement income is taxable because I put it in all these tax deferred accounts, and I didn't put money in tax-free accounts and tax-free investment vehicles. And so you might find that you put up into the matching into your 401k, you put some in your Roth 401k, but then you maybe use other tax-free investment vehicles, and you put some of your money there, and you start building that up so that when you do retire, a significant portion of your retirement income is tax-free, not tax-deferred. And then the other kind of thing that hits you for the tax-deferred monies is this thing called a RMD, required minimum distribution. So all tax-deferred accounts, The government makes you take it out when you reach a certain age, and so you will pay taxes on it, and you can't wait. Whereas tax-free accounts and a Roth is tax-free most of the time. We're going to talk about, did you know your Roth can be taxed, or at least part of your Roth can be taxed? So we'll talk about that in another video. But you know, you should be putting some money in the tax-free bucket so that when you hit your retirement age, that not all of your money is tax deferred. You hit the required minimum distribution, your Social Security becomes taxable, and all that stuff. So anyway, we'll wrap this here. I'll do a next video and we'll actually get more specific on 401ks and 401k Roths. And I will talk to you about how the 401k Roth, part of it can become taxable. So anyway, thanks again. Ken Krager from Black Swan Financial Advisors. Disclaimer, everything in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Please look for our community on Facebook, and we'll have our websites up pretty soon for possibilitiesachieved.com. Look for the Possibility Achieved community on Facebook, or the community at Possibilities Achieved. You can send me an email. There was an email at the beginning of this where you could also, Ken at Black Swan Financial Advisors, you can send me an email and I'll add you, I'll invite you to those groups and everything. So especially if you know families who have loved ones who have special needs, please put them in touch with our community. It's a great resource. So thank you, and we'll see you later.